live on Instagram. And now the show begins with us being live on TikTok as well. Good evening, folks. Wow, it is your boy Tim, the handsome liberal, depending on who the hell you ask. Some would say, but whatever the case may be. I'm sure I'll get attacked plenty of times throughout, not unlike many others. But this is Friday Night Politics. I'm going to make it clear the reason we're going to go with Friday Night Politics is simple. There is so much that has happened this week that we couldn't just focus on a single topic. Under the Trump administration, it's not uncommon for a lot of shit to take place, but this is short of wild. So there's so much that has happened. We're just going to go with Friday Night Politics, but I'll just make it clear to you. I've probably got 10 subjects here, and more came in while I was actually working on my notes for tonight's show. Trump was on television with Bobby Kennedy and Dr. Oz. Apparently this Trump RX, they've made some kind of deal to lower prescription drug prices. So if that comes up from some of the viewers, we'll certainly entertain it. I'm not going to discuss it much tonight because I didn't do any research on it. It actually broke. Dr. Oz was standing next to Dr. Oz was announcing it, but Bobby Kennedy and Trump were flanking him. And that just happened about an hour ago, maybe even less. So I don't have enough on that to go into a deep dive in regards to that. But in regards to what we are going to be talking about, shutdown week 3, government shutdown week 3. Now, that's not breaking news, but that is what is pertaining to what's going on this week. Like I said, we got about 10 topics here, so we're going to kind of let the viewers guide this show to some degree. I'm going to present the topics. We'll talk about things as things go on, but kind of what normally happens, we end up narrowing down to something that people are really focused with. But there's so much here. But anyway, shutdown week 3. And President Trump, once again, another thing that was just announced while I'm working on the show in regards to the third week of the shutdown, President Trump just announced that they have began firing federal workers. Now, many of you are aware that he made this threat to the Democrats that if they didn't come to the table to work on, keeping the government up and running, that he would basically punish them by firing federal workers. Now, before I heard that, in my notes, I had simply put, why isn't Trump trying to meet with both parties to get the government up and running again? And then, boom, you get this Trump is firing federal workers in response to the threat he made to the Democrat Party. And in addition to that, he actually stated, and I don't know if this would be an impeachable offense, but I'm damn sure it would come up in the future. He stated he is only targeting Democratic programs. Wow. Now, you wonder why the Democrats are not working with the Republicans to open up the government. In addition to, making jokes about Hakeem Jeffries with a sombrero hat on, now he's firing people and making it clear he's only targeting Democratic programs. Wow. So you're probably not going to see the government open anytime soon. Why the hell would the Democrats work with somebody that's doing that? I don't know. But that's just one of our topics. Continuing on, the Smithsonian. This is probably not a major topic to most folks, but perhaps to some minorities, because Trump was targeting African American exhibits and things like that, minority exhibits at the Smithsonian. Well, anyway, they announced they only have enough money to be open for 2 more days. So anybody that may have been going to visit the Smithsonian or children taking field trips, 2 more days and the Smithsonian will close its doors. They only have enough money remaining to stay open for 2 more days. That's what the Smithsonian stated. Also, in addition, a lot of these topics are brand new because they broke out while I was actually making my notes for tonight's show, including that Smithsonian case, including President Trump only targeting Democratic programs and firing federal workers. Here is another one that just broke today. President Trump just announced he is now going to impose an additional 100% tariff on the nation of China. Apparently they did something that he didn't like, So he's decided to impose an additional 100% tariff on them. Stock market just closed up, not better yet, down 900 points. That just happened. This is stuff that is in the last maybe 2 hours, 3 hours or more. Now, here is the actual Truth Social post from Trump. I'll briefly read through it. It's a long one, but I'll see if I can speed through this. It has just been learned that China has taken an extraordinarily aggressive position on trade in sending an extremely hostile letter to the world, stating that they were going to, effective November 1st, 2025, impose large-scale export controls on virtually every product they make, and some not even made by them. This affects all countries without exception and was obviously a plan devised by them years ago. It is absolutely unheard of in international trade and a moral disgrace in dealing with other nations. He continued on by saying, based on the fact that China has taken this unprecedented position and speaking only for the USA and not other nations who were similarly threatened, starting November 1st, 2025, so that's about 3 weeks from now, or sooner, he puts in parentheses, depending on further actions or changes taken by China, the United States will impose a tariff of 100% on China over and above any tariff that is currently paying. Any tariff that they are currently paying. Also on November 1st, we will impose an export controls on any and all critical software. So we are in a deep, deep conflict with China. At that point, probably anything coming in this country from China may not even be worth purchasing anymore. That may have literally destroyed the trade relationship we have with China. That's 100% tariff on everything, I don't know if that's going to remain. That's so big, so colossal that my guess is the powers that be financially may get Trump to back off on it. I mean, the stock market is down 900 points. That just came in, by the way. In addition to that, more news just continued to break. This is literally one hell of a news day. How many of you heard? I want to play the clip for you because I found this one to be somewhat humorous. Nevertheless, in the age and era of President Trump, essentially, when I say anything, I mean essentially anything.
President Trump could have achieved the peace that what we believe will be a lasting peace in Gaza, and Qatar played a substantial role from the beginning, working with our folks to ensure that came about. So I want to thank you for that historic piece. I look forward to joining the president as that gets, it's already been delivered, but as that's formally signed as well. And I'm also proud that today we're signing a letter of acceptance to build a Qatari Emiri Air Force facility at the Mountain Home Air Base in Idaho. The location will be host a contingent of Qatari F-15s and pilots to enhance our combined training, increase lethality, interoperability. It's just another example.
So we're building a Qatar Air Force facility in Idaho, in the state of Idaho. We're going to be building a Qatar. That's Pete Hegseth announcing that. We're going to be building a Qatari Air Force facility in the state of Idaho. Shout out to the Trump administration, creating a hell of a lot of black jobs, state of Idaho. But why is that? Why is that? Now, I'm going to give you something that might be conspiratorial, and you'll know right where I'm going when I end up posting the following photo on stream. Why would we open up a facility, an Air Force facility for the nation of Qatar, Qatar, in Idaho? Why would we do that? Remember, you see on the screen behind, remember the jet that President Trump received? $400 million, no strings attached. Perhaps there were strings attached. Why all of a sudden would we put an Air Force facility for Qatar or Qatar, however you pronounce it, in the state of Idaho? Why would we do that out of the blue? Why would we do that? And obviously, I'm going to go ahead and speculate that when they gave President Trump that jet, you're not going to give anybody a $400 million gift for no reason at all. That just makes no sense at all. By the way, if this ends up going to Trump, does he would have to pay taxes on this, correct? Some of my tax and what do you call it, accountant knowledgeable folks in the audience. What do you, I mean, because this jet is never going to be flown by any president. It's according to Trump, whose statements change like the weather, but according to Trump, this jet is going to be flown by him as president of the United States, and then once he is no longer president, it's going to go in his presidential library. Or some folks claim the Smithsonian, which is now claiming they only got 2 days of money to operate. So, but fact is, I think everybody believes that this jet is going to end up staying some way, somehow under President Trump's control, because there is another Air Force One that they're working on. So President Trump's going to be the only president that ever flies in his jet. So, but anyway, do want to continue on. But yeah, the point is, why would Qatar suddenly get an Air Force facility in Idaho? It's a possibility that it could be a quid pro quo deal. Continuing on, and there is just so much here. I mean, we're not even going to get too deep into, obviously, what happened with James Comey and Letitia James this week. That's also news that just happened this week. Letitia James was just indicted yesterday. It's amazing at how fast news rotates under the Trump administration. The Israel-Palestinian war has allegedly come to a conclusion. However, despite repeated efforts, President Trump was not given the Nobel Peace Prize. It went to someone in Venezuela, of all places, the area that Trump is suggesting is loaded with drugs and they're flooding the United States. So President Trump did not receive the Nobel Peace Prize. And it's interesting that they would vote not to give Trump the Nobel Peace Prize literally the day after he announced he had brokered a ceasefire between Israel and the Palestinians. I'm just speculating here, and I'm certainly willing to admit if I'm wrong or be corrected on this, but I'm just going to guess and suggest that the reason that deal came in so quickly right before the Nobel Peace Prize is President Trump was behind the scenes, letting Netanyahu know, I want to be considered for this prize. You need to come to the table and agree to a peace deal before they hand out this prize, because I want it to be handed out to me. I'm just speculating, but I do believe there may have something to do with that. Continuing on, there is more news, and I'm going to let you folks decide where this program goes. I just want to read all what's on the topics today because there's so much news here. The National Guard being deployed to all of the U.S. cities. You know that. I believe they're now in Memphis. I believe that they now are officially in Memphis. And if I'm correct, somebody can correct me here, but if I am correct, the deployment to Memphis came with a 1-year service date. So the deployment in Memphis is supposedly for a year. Midterms eat your heart out. A year. Now, I hope that is wrong. I hope I'm wrong on this. And Jerry Garcia, I see you say that Memphis requested it. I guess the question I would push back in that, did the city of Memphis request the National Guard, or did the Republican governor of Tennessee request the National Guard? Clear that up for me. But the National Guard being deployed to Chicago has been blocked by a judge. So Chicago's National Guard deployment has been blocked by the court. The deployment to Memphis may never be blocked because it's the governor Republican. They're not going to sue. Whereas Oregon, DC, all these other areas have sued the Trump administration to take the National Guard out of California, sued them, all of these, but I don't know if you're going to get that out of Tennessee. I think we're coming to the end of all of these topics that are just insane. But nevertheless, I do want to hear from you folks. And I just want to play some. This is only a couple seconds, and then we'll start taking calls, and we'll go straight to the topic. But I thought this one was funny, somewhat humorous. Does it not actually? It's just relevant now. The one and only former South Nikki Haley.
Strength. What we've seen is Democrat inflation. We feel it in the grocery store and the gas stations. Democrat chaos on the street with crime. Democrat chaos in our classrooms with the lack of transparency. Democrat chaos on the borders because they're open, and Democrat chaos around the world. But let me tell every Republican in Washington, D.C. right now, You don't fix Democrat chaos with Republican chaos.
So what do you think? What was Nikki Haley trying to say back in toward the end of last year? What was she trying to say? You don't fix Democrat chaos with Republican chaos. Shout out to Nikki Haley. Anyway, looking in the comments, by the way, we'll continue and go ahead and start the show off. Let's get us a Chinese bases on our soil so they can buy soybeans. I think the Chinese are done with us. Who said that? Sophie Voss Page, or whatever the case may be. I think the Chinese are done with us. They made a deal with the Brazilians in regards to the soybean thing. So even once Trump is gone, even if you get a liberal in there or whatever, they actually have a contract now with the Brazilians. So the soybean for farmers, that's law. That's permanently gone, at least for the foreseeable future. That is gone. They've made a deal with the Brazilians. And my guess is a lot of things that Trump is affecting is going to result in people making deals with other people. And after Trump is gone, or if you get another Republican or liberal in there to try to correct some of this damage, because these people are entering contracts that ain't going to be a lot they can do, at least not in the interim. It may take years to get out of some of this stuff. King Finn says, I think it's wild that just a couple years ago, Qatar was a terrorist group, but now they get a base in Idaho. Yeah, I believe the head of Qatar was actually on the FBI's terror watch list. Insane what a little bit of money in a aircraft can do. Trump will cause the second Great Depression, says Freedom Fighter. Damn. And I do want to ask that, considering what's all of this stuff that's going on, when do we get to the being great part? Do you feel that things are going great right now? Let me know in the comments. Do you feel like the country is really going in a fantastic, outstanding direction? Because I got a lot of MAGA that suggest that President Trump is indeed the greatest of all time. Greatest of all time. So getting the program started, you guys know how it is ran. We are MAGA. MAGA are my preferred guests. Nevertheless, liberals are always welcome to the program. We do not block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. Never have, never will. We don't contain a moderator. You can be critical of anyone on this program, including yours truly. It's all about free speech here. Enjoy it while you still have it. So anyway, looking in the comments, not if you're lefty, says Johnny 11. Damn right. But did you see or hear the conservative talking to Speaker of the House, Tim Johnson, or Mike Johnson? So apparently not just lefties. You think the Chinese lack of soybean purchases, you think that's only hurting lefties? I would say, you think all of the federal workers getting fired, you think they're all lefties, Johnny? Let me go straight to the box. I tend to think it's a little bit more bipartisan than you may think. Lewis, good evening. Welcome to the program, Lewis. How's it going?
Hey, how you doing, Tim?
I'm doing good. So, a lot going on today. I don't know what direction this is going to go in, but shit. Does it feel chaotic to you?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm gonna tell you something. Bring back Sleepy Joe. I'm gonna tell you right now. I mean, it's just something every day, man.
Yeah.
I do want to say this though, is that forget that stuff about a base in Idaho. There's no base going to be Qatar's going to. They're bringing over 12 planes, and they're going to let guys train in Idaho on a base that's been there since the 60s. We've always brought. When we sell planes to people, we always bring them over there to train at that base. Who just left was from Thailand just left that we sold planes to. Now those guys will be coming over to train on 12 aircraft that we sold them.
Okay. Now, just to be clear, this is not me, calling it a base or whatever to criticize the Trump administration. That's what Pete Hegseth called it. Pete Hegseth is the one. I mean, I actually looked up the quote before I actually came on. Pete Hegseth called it a military, I think he called it an Air Force facility. He the one that said that.
Well, they'll have hangars that they're storing their planes in, of course, because, we don't store hangars out in the rain. I mean, planes out in the rain.
What's the difference between that and the base?
Well, a base is a whole installation. I mean, the base that they're going to be on, I can't think of the name of it right now. It's in Idaho. It's a training base for all the bases that we sell hides and aircraft to. They all come there to train. They're not the first ones, and they're not the last ones. That's just what we do before we send the planes over. They come over and train on them, and then they take them back home with them. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate you correcting it. I mean, I appreciate you correcting it. Obviously, Pete Hegseth, then, according to you, is what Pete Hegseth is saying is wrong then.
Well, Pete Hegseth is always trying to make things a little bit more dramatic. If you ain't noticed,
Where do you think he got that from? Where do you think he got that from?
Well, he's a showman.
Where do you think he got that from? Go ahead.
Think about this, Tim. When he was standing in front of those generals, those admirals, and those senior non-commissioned officers, he was standing up there like he was Patton. You remember the movie Patton?
Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
He had that big flag behind him, and he was, we're going off to war, man. You know, with the war rally or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys looked like they wanted to just throw up. You know what I'm saying? They were so disappointed.
But MAGA is very proud of Pete Hegseth. They think he's doing a fantastic job.
That's because they're phony and he's phony.
You think MAGA is phony?
Absolutely. MAGA knows that their days are numbered. They gotta try to find a new leader. That's what I mean. I mean, they gotta try to find a new rallying cry. You know, did you hear that Trump is at Walter Reed getting a special physical today?
Yeah, I saw it. I mean, but I don't think it's anything to be alarmed about. Do you?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Absolutely. This is not no routine annual physical, dude. With all the problems he's having, and now he's got to go there and be checked in. I mean, the man got elephant ankles. He's got all kind of rashes breaking out on him. He's in bad shape.
Yeah, I just saw his hand. They showed his hand on World News Tonight with David Muir about 20 minutes ago, and his hand looks terrible. I mean, it looks like a pizza. But I will say this: I mean, Biden was already saying I need more sleep. Fact is, Trump does a lot. You may not like what he does, but Trump holds a hell of a schedule. He's on camera every damn day. He's actually willing to fly because he's supposed to be flying to Israel soon. I mean, he goes everywhere. He's up at 3 o'clock in the morning on the internet and watching cable news. He's a very busy guy for his age.
And that might be good to you, or you might think that's good, but it's not good for an 80-year-old man to be doing that.
No, I don't think it's good because I don't think it's good because I don't always like to hear what he's doing. But I'm just simply saying. You're right. It could be stressing out someone at his age, but he does hold a very busy schedule.
I agree with you 100% because Trump doesn't like doing what traditional presidents have done, have scheduled press conferences and go out and talk about what the people want to hear. Trump talks about what he wants to tell you. He doesn't talk about what we want to hear. When the last time you heard him say something that you wanted to hear? I mean, he only plays to his base.
Yeah.
But we want to know. When last time you heard him talking about food prices coming down and not lie? When you heard him
I ain't heard him talking about the economy at all. But just to push back slightly, it ain't like because you asked me when is the last time I heard Trump say something that I wanted to hear. He didn't run on being friendly to the Democrats. He ran on the Democrats are tearing down the damn country. And blue states suck. I mean, he made it clear. He's even been saying since he was president, I hate Democrats and they hate America. If you're Democrat, you should not expect a damn thing from Trump. He doesn't like you.
But you know what I'm saying, Tim? What about me? I'm an independent.
Maybe he thinks
what about me?
Maybe he mistook you for a Democrat. I don't think I can think.
Oh, no question about it. Because I got to admit, I am a liberal independent. But my thing is this right here is simple fact like this here. You can't win unless you get those people in the middle. And that's how Trump won, is because he brought over a lot of people who had never voted before and a lot of people who were disgruntled with the other side. That's how you win.
Yeah, but the thing about it is what you're not thinking of, Lewis, is Trump is not worried about winning or losing anymore. He's done. He's either going to get his second term complete, or he might even do whatever he got to do to get a third term because Congress is not necessarily getting in his way. He don't need to work to win anymore.
But that's what I'm saying to you. Are you sure he's not looking for a third term?
Hell no, I'm not sure. He's selling motherfucking hats that say he's looking for. No, I'm not sure at all.
Nobody can say that.
No.
I think Trump is definitely planning on trying to figure out a way to get a third term. I'm sorry. I think he is. I don't think he's going to leave peacefully into the night. I think the guy's trying to put on a war act. He's going to make like there's a war of some sort. And when he puts on that war, you can't change presidents in the middle of a war like that. And that's how he'll get it. That's how he'll get it done. And I think it could work.
Well, I will just say this. If I'm in Trump's situation where he is now, sometimes, I remember some of the old drug movies, they say you're in too deep. Sometimes you can get in something too deep that there's not an easy way out. If I'm in Trump's position right now, I'm going to try to get a third term, because the fact is, if Trump does not get a third term, he's going to be dealing with court cases and people trying to throw him in prison for the rest of his life. His only salvation is to die with the protection of the presidency.
I agree 100% on that.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, I agree with that 100% because he's going to be in battles now for the rest of his life, and his family's name is tarnished so bad that they don't have a chance for a future in politics either. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't agree with that. I'll tell you this: you say Trump's name is tarnished so bad that his family don't have a future in politics. If his family runs for national office in red areas, I think Eric and Don could be a congressman or a senator in a red state. I think they can still get that.
Maybe at that level, but I don't see it at the top level. Is what I'm saying. Those guys, that's below those guys. They're not interested in being no senator, no congressman, and having to go over there and work with others. They don't play well with others.
No, but they still have the power to greatly influence an election in favor of a future Republican. And by the way, I mean, other than George W. Bush, he ain't had a lot of family members that follow up after their parent anyway.
I think Trump's going to be doing that till he puts his last, till he's put in the ground. He's going to definitely still be influencing the other side.
Yeah.
But you got to figure, and if you were, and I think you are a Republican, but if you,
no,
I think you're.
I lean left. I don't have a problem with some MAGA policies. Better yet, I don't have some conservative policies I'm okay with, but I do lean a little bit socially left. I'm more left than right.
I think a lot of people like me and you, who grew up in the church and then kind of got away from it. We were brought up in the church with that word we call conservative values.
Right.
Not on the political side of it, but just conservative values, period. You know what I'm saying? Not political conservative values, because my parents never really talked to me about political side of it. They just said you need to be conservative in your behavior. And Tim, in my personal life, I am very conservative. I don't believe in AB. I don't believe in a lot of the things that go along with that. I believe in a smaller government. I believe in all those things. But I'm realistic too. And I know it ain't going to happen. There's no way our government's going to get smaller because we're getting bigger. We need more government, to be honest with you, because we're reaching so far over the world right now, and so in contact with so many different things and people, and we have so many rules, so many laws. We just need a better government. Not a small one. We need a better one.
Well, the problem is we are a capitalist country, and unfortunately, greed permeates our government. It's going to be hard to ever have a government that's truly for the people and about the good of this country when you got most of the members of the government working on what's good for their pocketbooks. I mean, and that's left or right. I mean, Nancy Pelosi, President Trump, they're all doing what they can to make their money.
When you get time, check out the number of billionaires, millionaires in other countries. They don't even come close to how many we have in this country.
Yeah, because we favor capitalism more than any other country. So the more we favor capitalism, the less regulations we're going to impose. And capitalism is set up in a way that once you acquire wealth, the way it's set up, it's designed for it to snowball. So once you enter the wealthy state, things go better for you. And when you're poor, it's harder to get out of it because the wealthy make it harder for you to get out of it. Most other countries have a lot more social safety nets. So they don't have as many billionaires because they don't let them become billionaires as easy as we do here.
Absolutely. And that's the problem. You know who Howard Hughes was, right?
Yes, very wealthy man.
He was the richest man in the world. And you know how much money he had at his maximum wealth?
What?
$5 million.
Damn, really? I didn't know it was that low. No, that would, but that's $5 million that's not been adjusted for inflation, though, right?
But no question about it. No
Okay.
question. But what I'm
All
saying
right.
though, it still was $5
But it
million.
still wouldn't be anything. It wouldn't be anywhere near Elon or Bill Gates or anything.
It ain't no 372 billion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
so with a B, used to be, Tim, if you were a millionaire, you were the shit in Chicago. You ain't shit in Chicago if you're a millionaire today. You know what I'm saying? They got bus drivers that are millionaires. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, they got janitorial service leaders that are millionaires. They're making $500,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? And stashing away their money.
Yeah.
So a millionaire is nothing these days. To be a millionaire, yeah, you'll live a comfortable life, but you're not going to be high on the roost and everybody's going to be having parades for you. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
just
but
not gonna happen.
like I said, the way capitalism is set up, where you keep removing more and more regulations so that the rich guy can keep getting richer and richer. Now you don't have a minimum wage increase. Now you don't have to give your employees health care. Now you don't have to give them pensions. All of that's done to make the bottom poor and make the wealthier. I mean, that's just the way it is. Back in the Hughes days you're talking about, you got a pension, you got good health care, the wages were better. I mean, so they couldn't get as rich.
I agree 100%.
So,
And Tim, in closing, let me say this to you.
sure.
I love Gangstagram.
Oh my God.
I love her, man.
Oh my God.
I don't totally 100% agree with her all the time, but man, she cracks me up, man. She ain't as stupid as people. I mean, she has a piss poor delivery, but she makes a lot of sense, Tim. I mean, you got to give her props. She makes a lot of sense. Not because she's ragging on you. I'm talking about the stuff she's talking about. Her issues are valid, but it's just her delivery is kind of harsh. You know what I'm saying? But
So what do you say? She should run for president? She's smart, but has a terrible delivery. That sounds very familiar.
yeah, it does sound very
Yeah.
familiar. But my thing is like this: no, I don't think she should be your host. I said yes when you did that little survey, but no, she would slay your guest wouldn't last 2 minutes on the horn. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
There's no one that comes up there on the other side that can stand up against her. No one.
My guess is if she kept talking like that to some of my MAGA viewers, you might end up getting somebody like that, which is, I don't want to run a show like that where everybody's cussing each other out. I don't like,
I hear you.
yeah, so that's kind of the reason, but I got to move it on then, Lewis. Appreciate you coming in as always, man. Thank you.
All right, man. Thanks, Tim.
You too.
Appreciate
All
you.
right, appreciate it. By the way, folks, tap the screen. Help your boy reach that hat mustache goal. Always a pleasure talking to you folks. And looking in the comments here, hang on 1 second while I figure out what the hell did I just do. Okay, imagine her against MAGA Reacts. That could be interesting. What we said about Trump and Project 2025 is coming true, but you say we have Trump derangement syndrome. Well, Charles, Trump derangement syndrome is just basically another way of saying I want you to stop talking about Trump. That's really all it is. I mean, anybody that criticizes Trump is going to have Trump derangement syndrome, but you could criticize equally any liberal in the book and you'll never have a derangement syndrome for the liberal you're criticizing. It just is another way of saying I want you to stop talking about Trump. Truck Man for Life. I want to thank you for your support. I saw it there earlier and I thank you now as well. Thank you, Truck Man for Life. Moving on with the program to back out and go to another stream. What are you guys arguing or something in the comments? If it was easy to be a billionaire, there would be more of them. True. But the system is designed that once you start acquiring wealth, it becomes easier and easier to acquire wealth. Your tax write-off, the system is just more favorable to the wealthy because those are the ones that can lobby and get politicians to change laws in their favor. Let's say you own an airline industry. What do? You lobby the politicians to remove regulations to make it easier for you to operate your industry. I mean, did we not just have a train crash in Palestine, Ohio, a few years back during the Biden administration, tore up the whole damn town because it was carrying toxic chemicals, and it turns out there was only 2 guys on the train? How does that happen? Well, you get the railroads to lobby to politicians, so you don't need to have several people on board, even if it's a toxic load. Obviously, there could be consequences like that, but that's what you do. That way, you're not having to pay all of those people. I only want 1 or 2 people on the train. And it normally works until an accident happens. But anyway, continuing on with the program, we got a whole lot to discuss today. We'll go on to the next guest. I gave a lowdown, a whole laundry list of what's going on. There's no way I can keep going over it because there's just way too much going on. I would wipe the floor with Gangster Grandma, says Jeremy. Oh my God. Maybe one day I'll put you two together. People are becoming millionaires through their home values and 401 stock investments. True. But like I said, the system is designed once you get money that it snowballs. I just know from the little money that I once had in owning properties, I start being able to claim all kinds of shit that I never could as a hardworking, overtime and earning engineer with AT&T. It was a lot easier once I started earning properties. All of a sudden, it was just easier to do shit. When Trump reduced the speed break regulations. Okay, so you're saying that I haven't heard that. Let me go back to the box, tap the screen. We'll continue on with Travelman. Good evening, Travelman. Welcome to the program. Lot going on today, man. Good evening.
The heroic citizens who hey, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. Good to have you back on. So President Trump has began firing workers. Now, the government shut down entering week 3. He's began firing workers, and he stated that he's only going after what he referred to as democratic programs. What say you?
You can't fix stupid.
He's the president. He can't be stupid.
You cannot fix stupid. Any program that's national affects everybody. And correct me if I'm wrong, but these programs that he's talking about jacking up probably benefit red states more so than blue.
Well, so, I know the Department of Education is one of the areas he targeted. They listed them. I can't remember what they were, but I know the Department of Education is one of them.
Well, last time I checked, red states, red states, they get a lot from the Department of Education. They're not doing anything with it because most of you look at the bottom 10 in education, and I think 7 out of 10 are red states.
Yeah.
So they must be taking some of that Department of Education money and applying it towards those billion-dollar prisons that they building down there in Alabama and Tennessee and stuff. Because they definitely not using it for education. They busy trying to disrupt public education and try to put this money into private schools, which a study has shown most of that money goes to well-to-do families, middle class, upper middle class families get most of that money. Yeah. So, he wants to affect democratic programs. Right now, the Social Security Administration, they can't send out letters, or they can't help people that need the verification letters that say that they get Social Security, which you have to have. It's like a verification of your income, So if you're online, you can go online and print it off.
So let me ask you this. Should the Democrats, for the sake of getting the country back on track and open it again, should the Democrats just work with the guy? Because we're going into week 3 now.
Okay, but check this out now. One of the reasons that we're in this situation is because Trump told the Republicans, do not negotiate with the Democrats. That's what he told Johnson and Thune. Don't negotiate with them. So now this bill that they're talking about is the same thing like that immigration bill that they had before. Where they talking about, well, we voted on the bill. Yeah, it was your bill. Oh. And the bill that they have that they put together now is a Republican bill. There's no Democrat input in it. And if you need to have Democratic votes to get something passed, don't you think you might want to talk to them?
Yeah, but they're suggesting it's a clean resolution saying that the Democrats voted for the same bill last time, and now they're just voting against it to play politics.
Okay, okay. And then the next question is, one of the questions I've heard them asking is, well, what happened between then and now? Well, you want to know what happened? You passed that big ugly bill that nobody likes.
The big beautiful bill.
Were you gonna cut what? I'm not gonna say the 10-year part. You're gonna cut $80 billion a year for Medicaid. and you come up with that BS lie, oh, we're gonna do waste, fraud, and abuse. Ain't that much waste, fraud, and abuse in the freaking world?
Yeah.
When you get $80 billion a year.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting you would say that because Marjorie Taylor Greene is on the prowl. Marjorie Taylor Greene almost sounds like a Democrat. She was on CNN's Crossfire the other day. And yeah, she had a lot to say about she's a mom first, second politician second. And she was actually blaming the leadership of the Republican Party for the government shutdown. She was not blaming the Democrats.
Because they didn't negotiate on it. Okay, I just talked to one of my former coworkers at DHS. She said her insurance went from I think she said $150 a month to $300 bi-weekly.
Damn. So it quadrupled.
Yeah, she said she just got the letter. She said she just got the letter a couple of days ago. You know, so yeah, you know, the letters are going out. And then you got open season start. That's when the people got to make their decisions. Everybody, well, you know, it doesn't. You know, the subsidies don't end to the end of the year. Okay, but you got stuff that takes place before the end of the year. Yeah. And that's another thing too. They don't want to extend the subsidies, right? That's what it's about, right? They
among other things. I mean, I don't think it's just about them. Hold on, I don't think it's just about them not extending the subsidies. I think it's that. The way President Trump is acting, he's not presenting any motivation for the left to. I mean, making jokes about Hakeem Jeffries, as I just told you, deliberately targeting Democratic programs, firing them. I mean, there's no motivation from the left to work with the right when their leader is doing all that stuff.
And they're doing rescissions. But check this out. Okay, you're right. They also talk about other things, but the gist of it is. They want something done on the Affordable Care Act subsidies. They want them extended or made permanent, right? Mm-hmm. But they were head over heels, you know, full throttle ahead to make the tax cuts for the rich people permanent.
Well, you already know. I mean, that happened last time. That's like $3 billion. Yeah, that happened. Trevor, I mean, you're kind of breaking up. You're breaking up a bit. I may have to drop you. Your signal's breaking up.
No, that didn't. What about now? That didn't happen last year. That just happened a couple of months ago.
No, I'm saying this is not the.
Then the tax cut.
What I'm saying is during his first term, he did something similar where he gave the lower half of America a temporary tax break and a much longer one for the wealthier. I mean, he's done that before.
No, bro.
Trevor, I'm going to drop you. I'll let you come back up later on. You're breaking up too bad. I don't know what's going on with your signal. Looking in the comments, Denise Davenport said they did negotiate all this public record. Well, if they negotiated, you don't hear the right talking about the results of the negotiation. When you see Speaker of the House Tim Johnson on television today, he's just blaming the Democrats for continuing to vote no and keep the country shut down. He's not making statements like, we've given them what they asked for and they still don't want to play ball. They asked for this. We negotiated it. You're not hearing any of that. So for you to suggest that they've negotiated in its public record, you don't even hear the right talking about any negotiation. They're not saying anything whatsoever about how they negotiated with the Democrats. I don't know where you're getting that from because I'm not hearing even the right say that. All I hear is they're going after the Democrats rather and criticizing the hell out of them. But they're not. They're saying that they signed it before. It's a clean resolution or whatever, a CR, and they should just do it again. They're not saying they negotiated with them, so I don't know where you're getting that from. I keep hearing health care for illegals, which is a lie, says Freedom Fighter. Yeah, I believe that also is not true. But you got to come up with a reason because as President Trump stated, the shutdown tends to get blamed on the president. So you got to come up with some reason to blame the Democratic Party for this. But I don't believe also, just like you, Freedom Fighter, I don't believe that the Democrats are fighting for the way they're saying they're fighting for the health care for illegals.
If there is a shutdown, and it's not a horrible shutdown because, as you know, things will sort of keep
Well, it was a partial shutdown, right?
If there is a shutdown, I think it would be a tremendously negative mark on the President of the United States. He's the one that has to get people together. The president would be.
Now, that's President Trump before he became president, I think this is during the Biden or the Obama administration. Did you hear what he said, though?
Blamed. If there is a shutdown, and it's not going to be a horrible shutdown because, as you know, things will sort of keep.
Well, it was a partial shutdown, right?
If there is a shutdown, I think it would be a tremendously negative mark on the president of the United States. He's the one that has to get people together.
Now, the notable part is him saying he's the one that has to get people together. Have you seen anything from President Trump that indicates that he is trying to get people together? It's amazing how some of his comments age, and that one did not age very well at all, but that is President Trump several years ago. Anyway, tap the screen. Like I said, help your boy out with the TikTok cap goal. Get us on up. Wow, I really haven't asked. Get us on up to about 30,000. We can certainly make that happen. Let your thumbs not be lazy. This is Friday Night Politics. I don't have a better name for it because there's so much shit going on that I can't just simply pick one topic. This week, there is so much that has went on. Everything from the Smithsonian has stated they only have enough money to stay open for 2 more days. President Trump just announced he's going to add an 100% additional tariffs on China. And now the stock market closed. It was down 900 points this evening. The Qatar Air facility or whatever the hell's going on in Idaho. Shout out to Idaho, creating black jobs, I guess we might say, in Idaho. Some might suggest that this is a whole response to the jet that Qatar gave us. Shutdown week 3 is concluding. Not only is the shutdown concluding, but President Trump has now just stated a couple hours ago that they have began firing federal workers, something he has threatened. Keep in mind, we've had a lot of shutdowns in the past. They never fired federal workers. That is something new to the Trump administration. In addition to firing federal workers, he's also made the threat that workers that continue working for free are not guaranteed back pay once the government is back up and running again. Once again, no other shutdown has had something like that happen. So President Trump is kind of taking his own revenge in the middle of all of this. In regards to the federal workers that are being fired, he stated he's only targeting Democratic programs. Appreciate that, C. Osby, helping your boy get the hat and mustache go. Thank you very much. And, of course, the National Guard being deployed in U.S. cities all over the country. Memphis, Tennessee, the National Guard is now there with a year deployment. A year deployment in Memphis, Tennessee. And a judge has blocked the deployment to Chicago. Last but not least, the Israeli-Palestinian war looks like it's come to a conclusion. However, President Trump did not, emphasis on not, did not receive the Nobel Peace Prize. Went to someone in Venezuela. Jeremy, good evening. Welcome to the program. Busy news day. I want to ask you, Jeremy, how do you feel about him openly admitting that he's going to be firing federal workers due to this shutdown and targeting Democratic programs? What say you?
It depends on who he's firing them and what he's firing them for. I don't have the details about that. I just know that a lot of times federal workers have pretty cushy jobs.
Yeah, but why say Democrats?
Exactly what the job is.
Why not go after cushy jobs or folks who are not? Why specifically state you're targeting Democratic programs?
Democrat, like as in like those programs that the Democrats implemented.
That's what he said. Programs that the Democrats want.
I don't see why he wouldn't do that. I would say that a Democrat president would do the exact same thing to Republican programs.
No, you don't normally fire anybody during a shutdown. Nobody's fired anybody before. This is the first time this has ever happened.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying you're asking me why Democratic programs. Because that's how party politics work.
No, it ain't.
The other side
Nobody gets fired during a shutdown. This is not how any of this works. This has only been done under Trump.
You asked me for an explanation as to why. I'm just giving you an explanation as to why. I didn't say I agreed with it.
No, I get that you don't agree with it, but you're saying this is how it works. I'm telling you, they don't do this. They don't fire anybody, left or right, during a shutdown.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So the way I see it, if I had to go into President Trump's brain, I would say that this seems like him just taking advantage of a situation to do something he already planned on doing.
Yep.
He probably already planned on getting rid of these people.
You're getting smarter by the day. You're getting smarter by the day. Yep. I agree with that.
Yeah, come on. And let's be so for real about what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Now, and again, this is why I'm glad I'm not MAGA, because I don't have to be in order to be conservative. But do not ever call me a liberal. Ugh.
I get it. I
Even
get
if
it.
it's a handsome one.
So basically, you're turning more into a. Now you voted for Trump, but you're turning more into basically a libertarian or an independent.
I would say, I'd say I still call myself a conservative because I'll more than likely vote Republican in the midterms.
Fair enough. I mean, would you vote for Trump again? And by the way, Taryn, aka Ron, thank you for helping your boy out with the hat and mustache go. So okay, I mean, so you would more than likely vote Republican. So you operate on Republican principles, and that's fine. But so you do see kind of like I do that President Trump, what he is doing is not really Republican principles. He's kind of doing his own thing.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, that's the thing. Now, there are some things I agree with him on and some things I don't. Like, for instance, I don't have any problem with him deploying the National Guard to Chicago. None whatsoever. Zero. Or Portland or any of the other places.
Despite all of the damage.
But that actually goes against the traditional principles of the Democratic Party. You guys are for states' rights. Deploying the Texas National Guard to Illinois. By the way, how is that not an invasion by the state of Texas in Illinois? Illinois has their own military. Why would you send the Texas National Guard to Illinois?